and online, I guess Zoom, you guys are hearing me. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Reading from the lives of Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu passes by a grave. Hazrat Kumail radiallahu anhu says, I was with Ali radiallahu anhu once on a journey when he reached an uninhabited place. He approached a grave and said, O you dwellers of the graves, O you who live amongst ruins, O you who live in the wilderness and solitude, how fare you in the other world? How has it gone with you there? He continued, the news from our side is that all you left of the wealth and riches here has long been distributed. Your children are orphans, your wives, your widows have long since remarried. Now let us hear about you. He then turned to me, O Kumail, if they could speak, they would have informed us that the best provisions for the hereafter is taqwa. Tears welled out of his eyes as he added, O Kumail, the grave is a container of the deeds, but one realizes it only after death. Our good or bad actions are stored in our graves. It is said in a hadith that every person meets his good deeds in the grave in the form of an agreeable companion who befriends and consoles him there. But his wicked deeds assume hideous shapes emitting bad smells, which add to his misery. In another hadith it is said, 3 things accompany a person to his grave, that is his wealth, as was the prevalent custom among the Arabs of the time, his relatives and his deeds. His wealth and his relatives turn back after his burial, but his actions go in and stay with him in the grave. Once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked the Sahaba, do you know in what relation your relatives, your wealth and your deeds stand to you? The Sahaba expressed the desire to know about it. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, it can be likened to a person having 3 brothers. When he is about to die, he calls one of his brothers to him and asks him, brother, you know my plight. What help can you render me at this juncture? The brother replies, I shall call the doctor for you, nurse you, and attend upon you. And when you are dead, I shall bathe you, enshroud you, and carry you to the grave. Then I shall pray for you after you are buried. This brother is his kith and kin. He puts the same question to the second brother, who delivers himself like this, I shall remain with you as long as you are alive. No sooner are you dead than I shall betake myself to someone else. This brother is his worldly wealth. He then questions the last brother in the same strain, who makes this response, I shall not forsake you even in your grave, and I shall accompany you into that place of utter solitude. When your deeds are weighed in the balance, I shall forthwith lend my weight to the scale of your good deeds and weigh it down. This brother is the personification of his good deeds. Now tell me, which of the brothers you regard to be the most useful to the person? The Sahaba replied, O Nabi of Allah, the last brother is really the most useful to him. There is no doubt about it. The other 2 brothers were of no benefit. May Allah give us tawfiq to keep our death in front of us. This is such a thing that a person, as we get caught up in our day-to-day lives, and this is for everyone, We all get caught up in our day-to-day lives, and whatever's in front of us, it it stays at the forefront of our of our mind. And whatever we talk about more, whatever we discuss more, if we're discussing the latest computers, then we're thinking about computers. If we're talking about you know latest phones, then phones are what is at the forefront of our mind. But when we're talking about death, we're talking about the akhirah, we're talking about our graves, then this also remains in the forefront of our minds. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Akthiru dhikra hazim al-ladhat al-maut." Increase your talks, increase your mention of the destroyer of pleasures, meaning death. May Allah give us the tawfiq to remember our death and to prepare for it. During these days, even days of the lockdown, I was at 2 janazas. As a reminder for us about death. Inshallah, another hadith. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن لكل شيء شرفا يتباهون به وإن بهاء أمتي وشرفها القرآن رواه في الحلية. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن لكل شيء شرفا يتباهون به وإن بهاء أمتي وشرفها القرآن. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Certainly there is always a thing in which people take pride, and that which is glory and pride for my ummah is the glorious Quran." Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Certainly there is always a thing in which people take pride, and that which is glory and pride for my ummah is the glorious Quran." People indicate their nobility and dignity by virtue of their lineage, their family, and other similar things. The Quran is the source of nobility and pride for the Ummah, in the sense that reading, memorizing, and teaching it, as also acting upon it, in short, everything related to it, confers an honor upon them. And why should it not be so? After all, it is the word of the Beloved and the commandment of the Master. Its dignity excels all worldly honors, however great. The achievement of this worldly life, however splendid, vanish sooner or later, while the splendor and dignity of the Quran is eternal and unbounded. A person who becomes, who gets a position, say for example in government, and now we think that this person is honorable. This, Fulan was elected to, as an MP. Fulan was, he's the minister of this, or now he's the prime minister. Think, wow, what an honor. And the person who carries the message of the prime minister, he also feels like a big shot. He's not elected to anything. He doesn't get a big salary. But the person, hey, you know what? I'm carrying the message of this minister. I'm carrying the message of this minister. So I am important. See, both important. Lag rahe, huh? So what about the person who carries the message of Allah? This person is actually important. This person is actually important. Kya? Asiya smile kar rahi thi. It looked like she was feeling very, very. So, this person is actually important who has the message of Allah. So rightfully so, he should recognize that he's not unimportant. He is actually very important. And the message that he carries is very important. And if a person actually has yaqeen in the Quran and what it really is, then he will understand that he carries something which is very valuable. The person who's carrying the message of the minister feels very important. But the person who's carrying the Quran, he is actually very important. Because it is that law which will never go, which will never change. Anyways, politics. But this is that message which is eternal. So even the minor attributes of the glorious Quran are such that we should be proud of it, let alone its excellence in other respects. For example, its beautiful composition, wonderful coherence, the right choice of words. Oh, the right choice of words. Gee. Is Dajjal red? No, he's not exactly red. No, Dajjal is not a bird either. So the right choice of words, the proper development of arguments, the narration of past events and prophecies about the future. Its assailing remarks concerning other people are such as cannot be contradicted. The remarks about the Jews that they profess their love for Allah, but they never long for death. जी ये कहाँ पे आता है? قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين. If you're true, then be desirous of meeting Allah, be desirous of death. إن كنتم صادقين, if you're true. ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. This is where it is mentioned in Surah Jumu'ah about their qualities, that they do not long for death, whereas the believer, the person who has yaqeen that he is going to meet Allah and his deeds, he has done such deeds which will prepare him, he is happy to meet Allah. So the listener is impressed by its recitation, and the reader never gets tired of reading it. It is usual that however lovely a discourse may be, it may even be a letter from a beloved who has made one mad. We will become tired of reading it for the 20th time, if not the 10th, or the 40th time, if not the 20th. On the other hand, if we just memorize one ruku of the Quran, one may read it 200 times or 400 times, or go on doing so forever, but one shall never lose interest. And if something prevents us from enjoying it, that will be for a while only. In fact, the more we read the Quran, the greater will be our enjoyment and satisfaction. Even if a few of the above excellent qualities were to be found in any composition, we would be all praised for it. So if all these qualities were present in a composition to a perfect degree, surely it would have to be regarded with the greatest honor and pride. Now we should just reflect on our own condition. How many of us feel really proud of having memorized the entire Quran? Does a Hafiz command real respect in our eyes? Alas, our honor and pride lie in high university degrees, in big titles, in worldly pomp and show, and in the wealth which we will have to leave behind on our death. O Allah, have mercy on us. So Allah give us the tawfiq to make ourselves close to the Quran, to read the Quran, to learn the Quran, to practice upon the Quran. And a big portion of the Quran involves da'wat. Da'wat is that thing that a person, through which he gains strength, he gains the confidence, he gains the yaqeen to act upon and to live by the commandments of Allah. This is why is an encouragement for us, for all of us, that to whatever capacity we are able, we should all engage ourselves in da'wat, talking about the greatness of Allah. The more we talk about these things, which are all, we know it, we believe it, like all these things of the Quran, talking about how powerful Allah is, how great His authority is. But does a person really feel that he is, delivering the word of the greatest King of Kings? Does he really feel that while reading the Quran? Or does he feel like, it's just something that I'm repeating again and again? Even if a person doesn't understand it, but he feels an honor when he carries this message, even though he might not understand half the legal mumbo-jumbo in the message of the ministers or whatnot. But he feels honored that, hey, I'm carrying this important message. So do we feel that? the more we talk about the value, the greatness of Allah, the words of Allah, we talk about, the rewards that Allah has in store for us in the akhirah, then we will feel honored to be carrying this message, whether we understand it, whether we don't. And this will drive us also to try to understand what is being mentioned in it, because we know it is of great value. So Allah give us the tawfiq to bring this into our lives practically, to get closer to the Quran, to understand the Quran, to memorize the Quran, to live by the Quran, and to spread the words and the meaning of the Quran. Allah give all the tawfiq. Subhanallah bihamdi. Subhanaka wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.